grave barely covered his corpse.
This burial is really bizarre. There's no tomb. There's not even a cyst. There's not even stone slabs over it. And it's just dug 60 centimeters deep into mud. And yet, this individual is in this elaborate headdress that goes all the way down to his feet. It looks like a sudden, rapid burial, but with a certain element of respect.
Who was this man? The secret lies in the shells. In Guatemala, the investigation of an ancient massacre takes a startling new turn. Near the victims, a man buried with trappings of royalty, but in a shallow, unmarked grave, with seashells carved into glyphs of the Maya language. The investigation hangs on what these ancient words will reveal, if anyone can read them. Hundreds of years ago, a relentless attack nearly exterminated the Maya language. 1519. The first Europeans arrive in Maya lands. Spanish conquistadors seeking gold. And Christian missionaries seeking souls. To their amazement, they find books written in the Maya language, the most advanced language ever invented in the Americas. Books recording the genius of a great civilization, elaborate calendars, astronomy texts, blueprints for majestic rituals. But to the Spanish, they are works of Satan. Unable to read them, disturbed by their strange images, the Spaniards burn them. Only 4 books are known to have survived the Spaniards' relentless destruction. The most sophisticated language ever developed in the Americas was lost. Only in the 1960s did experts begin to crack its secrets. Have they learned enough to read the shells from Canquen? Glyph expert Federico Fassen searches the shells for a name. He recognizes the monkey head glyph, the Maya word Mosh, and another glyph, Khan. Who was he? Fassen knows the answer. Stone carvings from Canquen have the same symbols, and a glyph for royalty. The man's name was Khan Mosh, and there's no doubt who he was. Khan Mosh was a king of Canquen, the city where our murders took place. A wealthy, powerful ruler, buried like a beggar in a shallow, unmarked grave. Why would a king be insulted like this? It doesn't add up. But the glyphs reveal one more thing. King Khan Mosh died around the year 800 AD, around the same time as the 31 massacred nobles, found only 80 yards from his grave. Could our victims have been Khan Mosh's family, a royal family? Arthur Demarest finds a grim parallel in the 20th century. The Romanovs. In 1918, revolutionaries captured the Russian Tsar Nicholas II, his wife Alexandra, and their 5 children, and shot them all, even the youngest, destroying their dynasty. Were the victims at Canquen also deliberately exterminated?
It looks like the assassination of the king and the massacre of the whole royal family. And then nothing. The site is abandoned.
It would have been a stunning reversal of fortune. Not long after the massacre, the great city of Canquen plummets from its pinnacle of wealth and power to extinction. As the evidence mounts up, one thing is clear. The case of the Canquen massacre is about much more than murder. Fact. The Canquen murders happened around 800 AD. Fact, King Kanmash died around the year 800 AD. Fact, the city of Canquen suddenly disappears from history around 800 AD. Fact, the Maya begin abandoning all their cities around 800 AD. A ghastly massacre, a king's insulting burial, the sudden death of a great city, the unexplained collapse of a brilliant civilization, all around the same time. Solving the Canquen murders could do much more than lay to rest a 1,200-year-old cold case.
What we have here is real, hardcore, physical evidence of the Maya collapse and the kinds of things that happened in the Maya collapse. And as one of the forensic team said to me yesterday, you know, this is evidence that would stand up in court.
No one's sure what triggered the Maya collapse. Perhaps environmental disaster. For centuries, the Maya cut down trees for fuel and to plant crops. But trees protect soil from erosion. When they cut down their forests, the Maya exposed their lands to the destructive power of wind and water, which turned them into sterile wastelands. Just when the worst drought in centuries began ravaging their lands. But most experts believe drought and famine weren't the only things that destroyed the Maya. They argue that Maya politics may have helped. A possibility Arthur Demarest ponders as he tries to explain the murders at Canquen. The knives and axes found with the bodies revealed the murder weapons. But the motive might still be hidden decades before the massacre. In a high-stakes world of sex, politics, and power. Around 800 AD, the Maya king, Kanmash, was buried in a very unroyal manner. In a shallow, unmarked grave. And someone murdered dozens of people. Perhaps Kanmash's relatives, dismembered them, and tossed them into a pool just 80 yards from his grave. It seems to defy explanation. But archaeologist Arthur Demarest thinks it might make sense. It might help explain one of history's least understood catastrophes. The sudden and total collapse of the Maya world. around the same time as the Conquen murders, vast numbers of people suddenly began abandoning Conquen and other Maya cities. Before they died, our victims might have seen armies of refugees leaving Conquen and traveling through the rainforest, overwhelming other cities when they arrived seeking food and shelter.
To some extent, what we have here is a kind of a domino effect. The collapse and abandonment of these cities in the West. The problem is displaced persons, as the UN calls them today. You know, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people losing their homes and migrating to other regions.
More and more people grew more and more desperate. And suddenly things went from very, very bad to much, much worse.
All of a sudden you got another 10, 20, 30,000, 100,000 people moving into your region. Man, then things really fall apart.
Things fell apart with astonishing speed. Right after our victims died, the city of Conquen was no more, and the splendid Maya world began to disappear, while chaos and bloodshed rushed in to fill the void.
And it's sudden, and it's, you know, within 50 years, and it's violent.
Why did it happen? What did our victims witness in the final days of their lives? It's long been suspected that a fatal combination of drought and overpopulation, too many people, not enough food, destroyed the Maya. But another theory adds something else to this recipe of doom. Something that could be one of the motives for the dreadful murders at Conquen. Murders that might be traced to a most unexpected perpetrator. Khan Mash's father, King Taj Chanak. Conquen's greatest monarch didn't actually murder his son and relations. When those killings took place, Taj was already dead. But great Maya kings like Taj Chanak may have sown seeds of discord that led to the killings. Not with violence, but with sex. By exercising the right of Maya kings to have any woman they wanted. And not just for pleasure. Like other Maya rulers, Taj could have forged alliances by marrying other kings' daughters. The more alliances, the better. Call it strategic polygamy. For a king like Taj, it was a quest for even greater power. But for his descendants, it may have begotten disaster. Because while all those royal marriages did create long-lasting alliances, they also created a longer-lasting problem. Royal children. Experts have done the math. If the king of a Maya city had only 4 children, and those 4 children each had 4, and their 16 grandchildren each had 4, the king would have 32 great-grandchildren. And that's with only 1 wife. Multiply that number by several wives, and after only 200 years, more than 500 people in one Maya city could claim royal blood. Arthur Demer